Hello everybody, I'm back. It's been a little while, sorry about that. Man, I'm only 4 hours into this game.
I feel stronger.
And, you know, I didn't watch any of my videos to see where I was. So I don't really know what I'm doing. Quests. Man, I don't know how to do any of this. Go to the cathedral located at the center of the hive. Fetch 3 rings from Rout's tent.
Hey.
Who's Rout?
Watch, Chief. Just look natural. Casual.
Alright. Well, he was talking to me, but I have no idea what he said. Sir Anyone Crystal doesn't want dead. Now I'm looking for a vigilante named Black Rose to eliminate him as well. She's promised me coin and friendship. Oh, those are the, thugs in the bottom area. Rook has asked me to retrieve 3 rings from his tent. From his description, first is made of gold, the second silver, and the third bronze. Now I need to find Rook's tent. He seemed to have a simple mind, so it's probably close by. Oh, great. What the hell is he?
All right.
Hey, where is he? What are you doing over there? Oh, I talked to Morty. Damn it.
See the shine on that? See the edge on it? I tell you what, cutter, that'll do you, you business.
I guess cool. I guess cool. Can I see what you have? I don't want any of that. Oh. Okay, so I have rings. I have 2 rings. Man, I had like a million bronze rings. A crude wooden cart. It looks like it would fall apart if anyone tries to
Watch,
use it.
Chief. Just look natural. Casual.
Morty, I don't know what you're saying. Something casual. Profira, maybe she'll tell me again. This grim-looking woman spares you only a brief glance between returning to her rant on the stage. She has a powerful voice that carries across the marketplace, even cutting through the noise made by the merchants and the surrounding foot traffic. Gauha! He flashes you a disturbing, sharp-toothed grin and rattles a pair of dice in his hands. You have returned to play a game, yes? No, farewell.
All right. Done.
Empty barrels. Reekwind. I had some questions for you. What happened to you? Tell you the story, I I can, I will, but 3 coppers must I see. Gets into a stance, looks left, look right, then faces you. His face clenches, and with a grunt he breaks wind again. The smell nearly levels you, and he takes no notice. Cursed I! Walk to the wards in splendor. He stands up stiffly, nose high in the air. He saunters back and forth, nodding invisibly to passers-by. Requin freezes, his R's akimbo. Crossed paths with a crossed one. He had the look of a pumpkin, his seeds, curses. Requin then thrusts his belly out to appear fat. Slicks back his hair with his filthy palm so that he looks almost bald and begins drumming fingers on his fat belly. Then he walks around, circling the spot where his stuffy upper-class persona used to be. All a jumble with curses this one was. With a sneer and careless gesture, Requin tosses an invisible curse at the stuffy persona. Crap. God dang it. Knew my name, let it slip I had all it took it all. He stiffens again, inhaling deeply and resuming his upper-class persona. The persona suddenly crumples and Requin breaks wind violently, then exhales, filling the air with his foul-reeking breath. Cursed with stenches, smells, excrement, came here to tell tales. All good for now. Now Requin is the name. Given name. That's it? I'd like to hear a story. He takes the copper, gums it, then to your surprise he swallows it. Best purse there is. Belly. He gives a reeking wheeze. A story. He smacks his lips in his dirty rags. How you were cursed. Oh, seriously? That tale costs nothing, for it is worth nothing, and it is worth noting that it would be a sad tale indeed. Where would such a tale begin? Requin grunts, then gives a reeking wheeze that makes your eyes tear up. He seems to be thinking. It would begin with a man walking up to the mortuary, waking up in the mortuary, believed dead, but in truth only his memories are dead. Requin nods, then studies you and starts scratching himself violently as if to give himself scars. Dead, but not dead. No memories, no name. He escapes the mortuary, enters the hive, and speaks to a man who let his true name slip once and has regretted it. Requin seems hypnotized by your words. Yes, much danger in naming. Perhaps, he pauses. Perhaps the man to whom the nameless one speaks is a warning to the danger of names. He seems to chew this over. Perhaps he who has forgotten his name is better off. Is he? Is it better to suffer the truth with all its consequences, or is it better to remain ignorant? Which of the 2 men is better off? Requin gives a hacking cough, then spits, spittle green and wet, and then he turns back to you. It is your question, your tale, he speaks slowly. It is you who must answer it. I want to hear your answer. Requin shakes his head. My answer. He coughs again, belching forth another wave of fumes. He smacks his lips as if trying to drive the taste from his mouth. My answer is this. They are both fools, but only one knows himself a fool. Very well. I'd like to hear a story. I'd like to hear Ignis's tale. A sorcerer there was, no simple hedge wizard this, but a mage of power. Requin brings his hands together reverently, and smiles evilly. He burned with the art, and the art burned him. The name given him was Ignis, a name respected, then feared, then hated, then punished. Requin gives a rattling wheeze, then claws the air and hisses, apparently imitating Ignis. Taught by one of the last great magi Ignis was, and as an apprentice Ignis learned much, and nothing at the same time. Requin shakes his head sadly. In his heart, his coal-black heart, a fire blazed. It burned and it hungered. Requin claws at his chest as if in pain. As it hungered, Ignis hungered. It was his wish to see the plains burn. In the night, Requin hunches down and begins to slowly stalk in the direction of the alley, a mad grin on his face. Ignis came to the alley that was to be the Alley of Angles, and the fire in his eyes, the fire in his heart, both he let out. Requin points at the alley, then flings his arms in the air, silently screaming and laughing at the same time. Flesh ran like wax, people like candles, and Ignis laughed. Requin crumples to the ground, his body racked with imagined pain. An evil was done, and forgotten not. He stands up, then hunches over, looks left, looks right, then starts mumbling as if silently in a conference with someone. Something was to be done. He stands up stiffly, his face resolute. A punishment was decided. All the hedge wizards, midwives, rune tellers, copper-pinching winches, all manner of magelings, they came, all, even those with the smallest trace of the art, to punish Ignis. Separately they were flies. He makes a buzzing noise between his rotten gums. Together, dangerous. He hums, then raises his hands. Caught Ignis, granted his wish. He swirls his hands as if casting a spell. He wished to burn, they granted it, using his own desire to fuel the casting. They made his body a door to the plane of fire. They intended to kill him. Failed. Requin breaks wind again as if to accentuate the failure of the wizards. Ignis lived, only slept, blanket of flames. Flames turned in his sleep as he burned, never happier. He shuts his eyes, wraps his arms around himself and turns slowly, burning, ever burning. His eyes suddenly snap open. One day he will wake, and then the plains shall burn. An unfortunate tale. I had some other questions for you. What? No, I didn't say goodbye? I'd like to hear about what happened to the Alley of Dangerous Angles. Spireward, he points to his left at the charred alley in the distance. An alley of dangerous angles. He bends his limbs in a twisted parody of one of the skeletal buildings. Not always angled, not always burned and charred, once alive, no longer. Flames, fire. He flings his hands up in the air, then waves them to simulate flames. The alley burned, great smoke, ash everywhere. In the end, only skeletons of the buildings left. Bones of dead buildings. Angles, everywhere, angles. He hunches forward, like his voice a whisper. Again the stench from his body hits you like a wave. Dangerous now. Bad men have set up their kip there. He bows, then breaks wind in quick spurts like a bugle blowing. That is the tale of how a street becomes an alley of dangerous angles. How did the fire start? He makes a semicircle over his heart. A man made it so. A beast made it so. A man whom even fiends admire. Who? A sorcerer's tale filled with madness, sadness, burning, yearning. A tale I can tell, I will, but 3 coppers must I see. I'd like to hear the story about how you were cursed. Wait for him to choose a story. Oh. Dang. Can you tell me about Farad again? Riquin suddenly hunches over and leers at you. He walks around you a moment, dragging his leg as a flame. A king! A noble tale. A noble tale. A tale I can tell, but 3 coppers must I see. Riquin remains hunched over, staring at you. Once a man of respect, Fared was. A man of goals and position. All became nothing, turned into air. And stink. A liar, a cheater, a man who twisted law, Fared was. He writes for a moment and suddenly stops, afraid. Then one day he found he had twisted himself. Such a liar he had become that when he died he was to go to a horrible place. Fared would not accept it. He had cheated others, he would cheat his fate too. He read, dug in books, and consulted seers, and they told him that only in trash could he find that which would let him cheat his fate. Perhaps they lied. He stands up stiffly, then begins to fling off imaginary clothes. With every piece of clothing he throws away, he becomes more hunched. Farid threw away his position and his goals and took up a new title, and became a king of the rags. He would rule the trash, and have his subjects search it all and find that which he needed. He looks even now. He lives amongst rags and trash. There you will find him. Hello. Iron Null straightens up and puts her hands on her hips. Back again, eh? What do you need this time? Who are you again? 3 nails. Iron Nulls, they call me. She drops them back in the bag. Why are you collecting nails? I sells them. Tell me of Hamris. There's not much to say. He's a bit chatty. He's a fair bargainer. Needs a little jink, and that's about as far as it goes. I had other questions. Tell me about this place. Look, Cut, I've got a lot of work to do. Okay, goodbye. It seemed like I had passed somebody up that was, like, right around here. Like her. Oh, what the hell? You see a tired-looking woman dressed in a tight leather bodice. Greetings.
Damn it. Good as done.
Done.
Look at her standing in my way.
Done. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone. Done. Done. I'm gone.
A damsel in distress. You see a pretty young woman. Her hair is in disarray and the bodice of her dress is torn. She looks about in desperation and notices you. She runs up to you and grabs your arm. You notice the front of her dress is stained with blood. Help me, Cut it, please! They're killing my sister! Ooh! She looks around wildly. This drunken man who followed us from one of the taverns. We thought he meant no harm. Please, Cut it, there's no more time. Help us! Wait, first you said they are killing her sister, now you say he is killing her. Which is it? She stares at you, unsure of what to say. I'm distraught, I made a mistake! She glances at the bloodstains on her dress. Please help me! You glance down at her dress and look at the blood. Although it does appear to be real, it's completely dried. It must be hours old. The blood is hours old. What are you up to? You see her eyes flick to the bloodstains and back to you. I think you can hear a hint of nervousness in her voice. You're mistaken! Please help me! My sister lies dying while we tarry. You're up to something. Tell me what's going on or I'll kill you! She looks into your eyes and then glances at the scars that cover your body. She swallows nervously and you see her pale before your eyes. I'm supposed to lure people into the alley nearby. They're waiting there to take your drink. She looks at you apprehensively. Let me give you some advice. Don't pick someone like me as your mark. Choose some drunken fop who looks like he's never seen a battle in his life. And make sure he looks like he has more than a couple coins to his name. Now get out of here. She nods curtly and then backs away from you. She hesitates for a moment and turns to leave. Thank you, Kutta. She sprints off. Mourns for trees. You see a tired-looking, sorrowful old man who is gazing at the ash-dead tree in front of him. He's mumbling to himself and tapping his chin as if trying to figure something out. Occasionally he shakes his head sadly. He seems momentarily startled as you interrupt his train of thought. He speaks in a calm, unhurried tone, but one full of sadness. Oh, greetings to you, friend. How is this day find you? How's this day find you? Does it matter? The man is caught off guard, but then nods assent confidently. Yes, friend, it does. To me, at least. Though that doesn't count for much, it seems. He seems to turn back up to the tree. It finds me well, then. He smiles, but sorrow still lies in his eyes. That's good, friend. Hope your good fortune continues. He seems about to turn back to the tree. And how does this day find you? He shrugs slightly and proffers a bit of a smile. Fortune finds me well, though I'm saddened just the same. Why's that? He pets the tree beside him. It's the trees here in the hive. They're dying, friend, and no one cares. Seeing the look on your face, he holds his hands up, as if to silence you for a moment. It may not matter to some, but it's important to me. I feel it's a shame to see the last tatters of life and beauty in this ward left, uncared for, to die. Can you understand that, friend? Yes, you're right. It's a sad thing. He seems surprised and blurts out, Really? Oh, I mean, wonderful. Perhaps you would... He pauses and seems suddenly suspicious. He recomposes himself, speaking in his usual slow manner. In any case, that's good. I suppose you have some questions for me now. Yes, I had some questions. He nods. Who are you? I am called Mourns for Trees by the people here, friend. Why is that? What are you doing here? I'm wasting time, if anything, friend. What do you mean? It's a long story. Not something the casual passerby would want to stand around for, I'm sure. Let's just say that any efforts I've made to rouse the people here to action have been ignored. What is it you wanted the people to do? I wanted them to... He seems exasperated, frustrated, and at a loss for words. To care. Is that so much, friend? He looks at you in earnest. I suppose not. I had some questions. Why are all these trees dying? Just look at your surroundings, friend. Can you imagine anything having an easy life here? And besides the wretched conditions, the Dabbas rarely come to this part of Sigil. Dabbas? You know, Dabbas. Surely you've seen them. They're the lady's servants. They care for the city. Some parts of it more than others, of course. The lady? The Lady of Pain, friend, the mistress of Sigil. He stops speaking suddenly. Making a semicircle sign over his chest, he leans close to whisper, "It does no one good to speak of the lady. Know only that she alone controls the city, whether it appears that way at times or not, and speak of her no more." I understand. Well no, very well, why don't the Dabbas come here often? The Hive's a dangerous place, but that's not it. The Dabbas have the lady watching over them, and no one's foolish enough to tangle with her friend. I suppose it's all on account of the Fel. Oh, of Fel. Who is Fel? Fel? He's, well, friend, I'll just say he's the only Dabbas that doesn't serve the lady. I don't know the whole dark of it, as they say, but he's shunned by his fellows and lives here alone in the Hive. He runs a tattoo parlor, but most of Sigil is wary of the place. Tell me about this. No, tell me how he came to be shot. Like I said, friend, I'm not too sure. I've only heard vague rumors about him being on the wrong side of the issue when some power decided to butt heads with the lady. You could always try and ask him, friend. I'm told he's friendly enough, if not a little odd. Some power? A deity, friend? A god? Normally the lady has no problems with the likes of them, and she keeps their lot out of Sigil entirely. His name was Ausgard, but I don't know much else about the affair. His name was? The man nods gravely. As I understand it, the lady destroyed him. I wouldn't forget that if you were to ever consider messing about with her or her servants. Tell me about his tattoo parlor. Fel's parlor is only a few buildings east of here. It is marked with his personal symbol, a white oval pierced by a lightning bolt. I've never been there myself, friend, but as I understand it, he's able to turn images from his speech. You know, Dabbas speak in images, yes? Rebuses? Yes, go on. He nods. So he's somehow able to turn images from his speech into tattoos. And not just ordinary inklings either. I'm told there's magic about them, more than just in their making. I don't know much else about it, though. So, what about the places they're to be wary of? Well, friend, since he turned from the lady, many people think it's just a matter of time before her shadow falls on him. No one wants to be about when and if that happens, I'm sure. They do. You'll see what I mean if you ever try talking to one. They float streams of symbols over their heads. He waggles his fingers over his head to illustrate, instead of speaking. It's up to the listener to puzzle out just what Dabbas is saying, but I hear it's something you get better at with practice. Let's see, go on. Okay, I had other questions. What can you tell me about this place? It's the worst Sigil has to offer, friend. Not much else to say about it. Why are you here, then? I'm wasting my time. What if I was looking for work? In the Hive? Unless you're a thief, I doubt you'll find any. You could always gather corpses and haul them to the mortuary gates if you're that desperate. I hear the dustmen pay a pittance for them there, in an effort to keep the Hive streets and alleyways from becoming even more foul. Where could I go to enjoy myself? Well, friend, it takes a certain sort of find anything of amusement in a place like this. I'd look for entertainment in another ward if I were you. Safer. What's dangerous? Here? Everything, friend. Everything. Well, maybe not me. I'm looking for a man named Farid. Sorry, friend. When I first came here, I spoke to many people, but I don't remember anyone by that name. I'm looking for a journal I've lost. Can't recall seeing one here anywhere. When do you last remember having it? I'm not sure. Okay.
I'm gone.
Ah! Forgot they're chasing me. This attractive, scantily clad woman calls out to you as you make your approach. Oh, as she makes her approach. Pardon me, good sir, pardon. You seem a bit lost, if I may be so bold. Would Would you require the surface of a tout, perchance? Only a single copper. What's a tout? A guide, sir, to see around this part of the hive. All right. Thank you, sir. 'Tis a drink well spent. She buckets of copper. There's 2 gates leading from here. Both are on the westernmost side of that area. One in the north, one in the south. 2 places you may wish to visit are the Small and Corpse Bar and Tattoo Parlor. Lastly, there's a set of buildings oftentimes called the Tenement of Thugs. A dangerous, dangerous place. That's it? Man takes a step back, peering suspiciously at you from beneath his hood. Again, eh? What do you want? What are you doing? I'm looking for the damned bodies is what I'm trying to do, but you think dead powers had packed up all the kip and left the plains, the way the people are staying healthy and all. There's a sudden gleam in his eye. We had a pox last month, and it was a glorious time, it was. Bodies stinging to the high heavens, and plenty of drink to be had, too.
I'm gone.
Well, there was someone in here.
Done.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just heal for a while, alright? So I'll end the video here, and whenever I heal a bit, I'll record again.